The consumer is still spending as retail sales soared last month, and that's not the only sign of a strong consumer. Walmart out this morning with its earnings results. Shares are actually hitting a record high. The company raised its guidance for the year. Here's what Walmart CFO John David Rainey told me last hour about the health of the consumer.
There was no step down in July as some had expected, and that's generally our outlook for the year. There's certainly reason to be measured in the outlook when you consider that we have an election coming up in the U.S., you've got unrest overseas, but the consumer is still hanging in there. They're being choiceful, they're being discerning, they're looking for value and focusing on those things that are essentials versus the discretionary items.
Joining us now, we want to bring in Jason Del Rey. He's the author of the book, Winner Sells All, Amazon, Walmart, and the Battle for Our Wallets. Jason, it's great to have you here. So I'm curious, just give me a sense of, wrap this all up for us and tell us maybe what we could expect going forward, because we got retail sales out this morning very strong. You take a look at Walmart's guidance here, the fact that they raised it, obviously a good sign here for consumers. What does that ultimately tell us just about the catalyst maybe that we could see or that the consumer is going to provide here for the economy going forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great sign that we did not see a weakening here. I think consumers are still working hard to find value. I think we talk about Walmart's great quarter, all things considered, and that's driven in large part by being aggressive on value, discounting rollbacks, but also the convenience measure. I think a lot of consumers, while they're trying to, just make their budget work, they've been trained to expect convenience as well. And so Walmart's investments in pickup, delivery, and the like, I think are paying off.
Talk to me about, Jason, kind of the headline that you took away from the earnings when it comes to the consumer, because sometimes when you've got better earnings from a Walmart, it can indicate that wealthier consumers are starting to trade down, or as the CFO loves to say, for the second quarter in a row, they're trading in. Is that potentially a sign of consumers struggling?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that a lot, and that is, that is something I'm thinking about. Obviously, a worse result for Walmart, I think, would have been worse all around. But I do think the fact that high income consumers are still looking for value, as Walmart says, the value convenience combination, I think that says we're not quite out of the woods yet. Store brands are still really popular. And so I think that's indicative that other than the very, very wealthiest consumer, people don't feel comfortable yet with where we are. And I think people are just continue to looking for value.
Jason, what does this tell us just about, are we going to see further divergence in between the segments or the sectors, winners and losers?
Listen, again, I'll go back to the value and convenience combination. I think obviously, I cover Amazon very closely at Fortune magazine as well. And they're pushing in both of those directions at the same time. Walmart, in their own ways, pushing both value and convenience. I think there are very few companies that can do both very well, can invest in both price cuts and, express delivery and great pickup offerings. And so, yes, I think, beyond those two, there are not many mass retailers that can really provide both. And I think that's what consumers are still looking for, especially in a market, in an uncertain market like this one.
Let's tap into your expertise, Jason, on Amazon, because one big question for Walmart is whether or not they'll be able to really start to compete with Amazon as a distribution center moving forward. What do your sources tell you about the likelihood of that? And is anyone at Amazon worried about it?
Sure. Just to clarify, you're talking about on the logistics and shipping front, or you're talking about something else? My apologies.
The logistics side.
Yeah, I mean, in my book, I traced a long history of Amazon worrying about Walmart's logistics might. And I think, Walmart is still years behind in matching Amazon's fulfillment offerings, in matching some of their B2B delivery and shipping offerings. But I think you can never, ever count Walmart out. I think Walmart under Doug McMillon the last decade has proven that they will find ways to invest and at a minimum stay ahead of the rest of the pack beyond Amazon. And so, Amazon constantly trumpets not paying attention to competitors, but I think they continue to watch Walmart very closely, and they are a formidable foe in this space as well.